Okay, today we'll be drawing in X, Y, and Z patterns, or planes, so that we can deconstruct the different views of an object and then build more complex geometries from that. So to start, we're gonna always start with our little thumbnail sketch, and I'll do a side view of, it doesn't have to be very complex, it could be a pretty simple kind of shape. But I want to kind of use an entire box, so I'll do a shape here, and just add some line weight to it so we can see it a bit better. I mean, actually, maybe we'll kind of cut it so that we have this shape here. And what we're going to do is define it in our, X, Y, and Z planes first, and then we'll add it to a perspective grid. So here, that's sort of what the sort of side view looks like. And then from the top, it'll look something like, let's see, what can we do here? I kind of want to do some sort of shape like this, where the sides are kind of mirroring each other. Okay, that's the top view. So now we got to set up our side views and top views in a perspective grid down here. So we're going to lay one down. Now to find the center line, so that it can put the side view down nicely, we will divide our box up like that. Now from these corners, from these edges rather, I'll place in the bounding box for the side view. So then this box here becomes the side view dimensions, and then this box down here becomes the top view dimensions. So now what we need to do is kind of take a look at the geometry here. So if we kind of divide that in half, we've got some points to kind of reference, and we can find, all of these points on our perspective grid. But I'm just going to eyeball it a bit because it doesn't really matter that it's exactly the same shape. I just want to get a general idea. So we'll start a bit lower here, and we'll do a nice sweeping line upwards like that. And the same thing kind of goes from the back here. So now we've drawn in this new shape here. Great. And you can see how much more distorted it is, from the sketch, from the perspective that we've drawn it in. And now we'll do the same thing sort of here. Okay. So now we have the shape down below here. But what we need to do is kind of figure out, this top view doesn't say it all. We have this undercut down here. So really what's happening is we have to sort of, we have kind of two bottoms, I would say. We have the first one, let's say that goes to here. So actually maybe I'll draw a new shape with that. And then from these edges, we can bring up and reference, what we need to do here is kind of reference the line work that's already down here. So there we go. Now we kind of have this handle that's kind of protruding up. So we're kind of jumping ahead into defining the three-dimensionality there. What I'll do here is also draw in the sort of front face of this shape, and also give some roundness to the middle of it as as well, just giving it some volume now. And you'll notice that we don't actually have a leading edge over on this side. So what we're going to do here is reference we want to find like a nice smooth sort of stroke here. So it's kind of referencing a little bit of the center line, but it also needs to go from that edge to the back there, right? And hit that one along the way, right? So to make sure that this is a nice true full form. So with that in mind, we've actually defined the entire sort of object here. We have pretty interesting sort of cross sections along the whole thing. And this is a really good technique. You can sort of pick a variety of different side views and top views and try to sketch them out and sort of see how they sort of come together. Actually, and I've just sort of noticed a bit of a mistake. I've really deviated from the kind of thick part of this sort of top view, and so really what happens is we kind of have a new sort of shape here that's defined sort of like so. That's sort of the new drop shadow, as it were. Actually, maybe we'll draw it in a drop shadow just to kind of give it a little bit of something to sit on. So there we go. I can hatch in a nice drop shadow. So this is a really good way of kind of communicating the form back to yourself. And get some really complex kind of shapes here, but drawn rather accurately, which is great. And what we always need is a nice good amount of line weight. So I'll actually spin the page around to get a better affordance on drawing these lines. Maybe I'll embellish a couple of them. So yeah, that's looking pretty cool. But this is a great exercise in, again, understanding your objects, choosing some interesting views, and these can get really complex. You can have things that are kind of cut inside of them, and see how that kind of translates to the page, or you can have, these kind of cutouts as well to kind of have different kind of handles, or sort of undercuts, and see how that would sort of show up on, maybe on these sort of angles as well. So this can really be very like remixable, and it's a great way of kind of keeping your sketching nice and tidy. It might be sort of the new advanced kind of warm-up you can adopt before you start sketching your assignments or projects.